Closed captioning is brought to you by Bodog. Be a player.
Just about to put the finishing touches on the International Lumberjack competition here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick. The dogs are getting ready for some dinner after the competition is over, and we're going to be crowning the Lumberjack and Lumberjill of the day. Up next is the Kettle Boil. Very interesting competition. Here in the Maritimes, it's big. Across the rest of the country, not so big. We have 2 heats of 5 competitors to show you, featuring Vino, Spencer, Cousins, Dillman, and Bourque in his first heat. And, as they say, it's about boiling some water.
That's right. Actually, this event kind of levels the playing field. So the guys that are big in saws or big in chopping, they can make up, the other competitors can make up some time here in the Kettle Boil event, because it's not brawn or anything else. It's how to split a block of wood and get a fire going fast.
Now, certainly, we're looking at our favorite right now, Trevor Dillman. I know you called him before the show that he could potentially win this along with Moyle Conrad. It's anybody's game, but Trevor Dillman, well-trained and well-versed at building fires, and he's got to be your pick of the litter in this particular heat. Who else do you like in this heat?
This heat here, Kelly Cousins, actually, she's also gone to the Nova Scotia Agriculture College, so she's got the same basic training that Trevor does. The whole thing is you got to get the fire going as fast as you can. The sooner you can get that kettle over top some flame and get some heat in it, the faster it's going to boil.
Now they're giving some matches to get it started there. Now of course, you got to build up around the can as well as underneath the can, right?
Yeah, the key thing is you see some of them taking these big blocks and putting them on the sides of their shavings when they first get started. That's to keep your kettle up off the ground a bit. You want to make sure you've got a lot of flame underneath that kettle.
And of course, that's where the heat is going to come from. Look at Trevor Dillman here at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. He's got a raging fire. Surely he's going to win this heat by having that big fire all around the can.
You'd think so. Sometimes, though, you never know what's going on. If you have a little bit of room, you can actually see what's happening underneath your can. Because sometimes if it burns fast enough, your kettle will sink down into your fire, and you actually can't get the heat underneath it to boil that water up over the top of the can.
Well, we can hardly see Trevor's kettle in there. I don't know if anybody's going to be even close to him right now. Cat Spencer's looking well behind. Trevor Dillman just trying to add a little bit of oxygen to the fire by waving his hat and his shirt. But Cat Spencer's doing a good job there as well. Kelly Cousins got a fire going in the background as well. Kelly Cousins is over with a time of 3.06 and a big upset there, beating out Trevor Dillman.
Sometimes when you get a fire going that hot and that big, you don't really know what else to do to it.
Well, a good job there by Kelly Cousins, building the fire underneath the can. As you say, Rod, it's not all about the size of the fire, but it's containing the fire and having the heat coming from underneath.
That's right. That's a whole key to the kettle boil. You want to, just because you have a big flame sometimes doesn't mean you're doing all the work's happening underneath. You don't have enough heat underneath your kettle.
Well, this next heat number 2, will be our last heat. We got McPhee, Bourque, Lambert, Graham, and Big Moyle Conrad beginning of the show. If he wins this thing, you said his wife's going to have him in the kitchen the rest of the summer, right? Rest of the winter?
Yeah, and Moyle Conrad, actually, he's a great kettle boiler. He's actually won a lot in Nova Scotia at the guides meets down there. He's fast with his flames, getting the fire started and going, fast getting his pencils. A lot of different techniques here you see people using.
I see some people using rocks there. Is that because rocks hold heat, or are they striking their matches on the rocks?
Actually, a little bit of both, Bill. A lot of people put a little bed of rocks underneath their fire, and of course that helps to reflect the heat up through the bottom of the fire. But it's great to light your matches on as well. Some people have little hatch marks that are filed into the back of the axe, and that's what they use to actually light their matches. But you got to do all that on your own. So,
Moyle Conrad doing a good job. I see none of the guys are wearing chainmail on their hands here. In the first heat, we saw some chainmail on their left hand, which means that the hand that's going to be coming close in contact with the axe.
Yeah, I gotta have a talk with Roger McPhee. He and I used to boil in pairs years ago, and showed him a lot of my tricks. And I see he's not using them. He must have forgotten about them over the years, but still doing a pretty good job building that fire.
Well, there's a good platform there by Louis Bourque, and he's doing a great job building a platform with some pretty big sticks underneath there. Now he's going to try and build around it.
That's right, yeah. Interesting watching Donald Lambert. This is not an event he usually does a lot of, so all he's got to do is just take his time, build a fire, and try to get in there for the top 5.
2 minutes and 45 seconds, and Moyle Conrad's got a huge fire, and looks to me like a huge lead anyway. He's got to beat a time of 3:06 set by Kelly Cousins in the first heat. Now he's got a big fire. He's just trying to add a little bit of oxygen by waving his hat at it. What else can you do, really?
Once you get it that hot, and you don't want to get in there and singe your eyebrows, so you just stand up, wave your hat, or just let it burn, really, when it gets to that stage.
Going to be very, very close. 3:06 time to beat. He's coming up to 3:05. He's not going to do it, doesn't look like. Moyle Conrad wins the second heat of the water boil, but not enough to overtake Kelly Cousins, who won with a 3:06. So, Kelly, you're telling me you win the water boil here. It's not about the size of the fire. Well, you're telling me size doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't, Bill. It's how you put shingles around, and you got to keep your heat into the can so it doesn't escape. Some guys they don't put the shingles on, and the heat's all just going out. So,
I mean, you're in heat with Trevor Dillman there. He had a massive fire, but again, he's losing all the heat.
You're right. He didn't put his shingles around, so the heat was escaping and not staying in close to the can to make the water boil.
There it is, Kelly Cousins from Prince Edward Island showing all the men how to do it, how to build a fire and boil the water, coming in with a 3:06, just edging out Moyle Conrad, who won't have to spend the winter in the kitchen.
The crown pivotal point today is Don Lambert's springboard chop. Did a beautiful 4-hit pocket for his first board, sunk a beautiful second board, nice and strong, gets up and gets a pumpkin block on the top. Does a beautiful job chopping it. 1 minute, 10 seconds for another 100 points towards his overall total.
And 460 is that overall total, over a clear 135 points over second place and 235 points over Mario Bork, ending the St. Stephen Lumberjack competition.
And our steam whistle lumberjack of the day from St. Gillies, Quebec, Donald Lambert, came here and did a great job, took a first place in the springboard and standing chop, consistent first place finishes overall, and wins a CS 450 Echo chainsaw.
Great competition here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick. Terrific weather and big crowds, but a bit of a runaway winner with Donald Lambert in the men's division.
Exactly, yeah. Paul Woolen had a bit of bad luck, and the crosscut saw put him back a little bit. But hey, how about the ladies' division?
It was a tight race. They had to break with the playoff.
That's right. Kelly Cousins and Kathy Johnston had to throw it off in the axe throw, and of course, Kathy came out on top.
Come back again next week. We'll be in Port McNeill, British Columbia for more Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, professional quality, ask any pro. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Bodog, be a player. Red Pine Wilderness Lodge, simply unreal fishing.